Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're about 19 weeks out. I woke up at 100 kilos flat, so that's 6 kilos off now since the start of prep. We've been at it for about 6 weeks now, which is a pretty good position to be in. At this point, 19 weeks out, calories are still high. Today I'm going to take you through a full day of eating on a training day and a push session later on in the day where we're training chest, delts, and I believe biceps, maybe also a little bit of triceps. We're gonna make it a hard session, as you know, this time of prep still is productive. My calories are still high, so I can still sort of grow and increase my training performance. And then at about 16 weeks out, or 15 weeks out, it's time to drop the hammer, lower the calories, and that's when it will really get tough. So for now we're still in a good position and we're ready to tackle on the day. So let's see what we got for meal one. So first, get the scales out. You gotta be sure we're using the right amounts. That's one thing, like in a prep, you can't just go like, oh, that's about 100 grams. Won't work. We're gonna use gluten-free oatmeal. I don't like to use gluten products as I do feel a little bit sensitive to them, and I want to keep my digestion in a good spot, because if digestion is not in a good spot, then your food won't be partitioned right, and you know, nothing will work the way you want to. So gluten-free oats, get some cinnamon to help us with glucose disposal, and it's also just nice for taste. We're putting in some sodium. Usually I like to have Himalayan pink salt because it just has more minerals, but this will do the job for today. About 2 grams in to make sure we have our sodium in, we have our electrolytes in, and we can get a good pump, we can get a good muscle contraction, because it's needed for muscle contraction. So don't skip your salt, especially if you're not eating a lot of processed foods. You're gonna have to use salt on your food, because sodium is still something your body very much needs. Then we're gonna put some almond butter in for the fats, just a little bit, 15 grams, to keep blood sugar in a stable spot and not have it spike at once, because fats will slow down the digestion a tiny bit. Now for the rest, we do choose foods that digest pretty well, as we're going to train in about 90 minutes from now. Therefore, we don't want to have a lot of food sitting in our stomach still as we're going in to train. And I'm also going to add some flavor drops, protein powder. That's going to be a protein source for this meal. We got some blueberries. That'll give us about 10 grams of carbs for the amount we're using. We're using 150 grams, but within those 10 grams of carbs, there's a lot of nutrients, right? So we have carbs here and carbs here, but there's a difference in between micronutrients. We do also want to get food in that's dense in nutrients, and blueberries are dense in antioxidants. Now, you don't want a lot of antioxidants around your training window, because you do want the oxidative stress from training, but in order for you to get too much polyphenols or antioxidants from your blueberries, you need about 3 kilos of them. We're not even near that with our 150 grams. Let's get this party started. So there's 100 grams right there. Get the cinnamon in. Alright, that's our sodium. So this is our first mix. Now we're gonna add water to this. But first, stir it up a little bit, because I don't like to be, if you don't stir it up, then the cinnamon is just gonna float on top and not really be mixed in between, and I don't really like that. So we stir it up first, add some water in. About 3 minutes is what I usually do. So now it's time to make the protein shake. At this point in prep, I still have enough calories left to use things like coconut drink, because this has about 3.5 grams of carbs per 100 milliliters. Later on I might switch to almond milk, because that's a little bit lower in calories, and then deeper in prep it'll just be water. About 50 grams of protein powder, which will give us around about 40-45 grams of protein. I usually like to have hydrolyzed whey, but last time I got this one and the taste is pretty good. It's chocolate brownie. Alright, so that just happened. So now we lost protein, and that's a damn shame, because that means we might be losing some possible gains right there. So it's time to add in the goodies. Some flavor drops. I just like to stir it first. And just drizzle that on. So there we go, meal one about to go in. Now this is our pre-workout meal because I'm gonna train in the morning, so then my breakfast will be my pre-workout meal. Usually I like to train with 2 or 3 meals in my system, but because it's a weekend and the gym's only open until, what's that, 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock. So then this will be my first meal, and then what usually would be my breakfast would be my 3rd or 4th meal, as I'm gonna have my post-workout meal after training first, obviously. So let's dig in now. So it's time to make some rice now. I'll prepare my rice for when I'm back. I have 2 rice meals, and what we use for it is a rice cooker. It's a gift from above. Perfection. Put it on cook and just leave it there. Time to make the intra-workout. We're using an intra-workout, first of all, just to get some extra carbs in, and those carbs will be used in the right way during training because they can be sent directly to the tissues where we want it to go. That'll help with keeping cortisol lower during training, better recovery, better performance. So what we use is 30 grams of highly branched cyclic dextrin, which is like a almost sort of pre-digested form of carbs. It's just easy to digest. It doesn't really take a lot of work. 5 grams of creatine monohydrate for energy production, training performance. EAAs, no BCAAs, no branched chain amino acids, but all the essential amino acids, again helping with recovery, and that'll have us ready to go now.
My name is Adencio Adeli, and today we have a scary push day.
Before we get started, we're gonna just activate the scapula a little bit, the retractors, to, help us with stabilization. And fire that up before we hit the real thing. We're using a daisy chain. Normally you use this for mountain climbing, but we use it for getting muscle. So with this machine, I always use the belt because the weight's gonna be heavy. My knees are locked, but I also wanna lock my hips down, because the more brace you can make yourself, the more stabilization you can create, the better you can concentrate and contract your muscle. Cuff, lying side lateral. The reason we choose this above a dumbbell side lateral is because the resistance profile is much better, because we can target the length and the mid-range of the side delt, and then once we get to that shortened range, it drops off a little bit, so making the strength profile more suitable. It's time to hit the post-workout meal. I'm exhausted and I'm hungry, so I'm just gonna dig in fast. So we got our cooked rice. I'm gonna take just half of it. And now, shredded chicken, 200 grams, pre-cooked, pre-packaged by Muscle Meat. Actually, just gonna warm that one up. You can make shredded chicken yourself as well if you use a slow cooker. Fairly easy, but this is even easier because I don't need to prepare it in the microwave. Then the other part of the meal, and this is where it gets fun. We got Frosties, and we're mixing them with Cocoa Puffs because I like to mix the flavors. 100 grams in total. Again, for the quick sugars, fast digesting. We're gonna use the coconut milk again to eat that. So there we go, this is gonna be the meal. We got 100 grams of cereal, mix it with coconut drink, a banana, 200 grams chicken, and 80 grams of rice. Like I said, I'm hungry, so this is going in right now. Alright guys, it's time to eat meal 3 of the day. It's a pretty basic meal, but it gets the job done. So let me show you what it is. We got our rice, the second half. Then we got another serving of chicken. Spread it out a little bit. That's ready to go into the microwave. Pineapple. We need 200 grams here, and that is for later. Isn't she a beauty? So there you go. That's the whole meal. So again, we're eating the pineapple as extra carbs, but with more micronutrients in there, as well as some certain enzymes such as bromelain, which will help with digesting protein. And it also just tastes fucking nice, right? We have the chicken, the rice. We're gonna add some salt and pepper to it. Keep it basic but tasty and simple, because that's the way to do it, guys. If you have a busy schedule like I do and you've been doing this for years, you just find your ways of doing it in an effective way. When I do have some more time, I will cook things up myself and make sure I make them tasty and look nice and everything. But you know, 80 to 90% of my meals are just basic meals, and meals that digest well for me and that just get the job done, like this one. So I'm gonna eat, and I see you guys for the next meal. Time to eat meal 4 now. This would usually be my breakfast, but because we trained after breakfast, that was gonna be my pre-workout meal. This meal is a little bit higher in fats, lower in carbs. As I say, I usually have it as meal 1, which is in the morning. That's a good opportunity for you to eat more fats, as your body will be burning fats at that point. And in terms of metabolic flexibility, that's a really good position to eat a higher fat meal. So for this meal, let me show you what we have. We got some beef tartare, that's low fat, 2 whole bio eggs. Quality of eggs is very important, so don't buy shitty eggs. Some spinach today, mushrooms. Like I said before, we had the 200 grams of pineapple that's left over, so we're gonna have that for the carbs actually. What I use is this spray. It's olive oil, so with olive oil you gotta make sure you don't turn up the heat too much, as the oil might get rancid and oxidized. A couple of sprays here, so we limit fat content in this way. That way we keep a little bit more calories for the actual food, which is good in prep. Let's get to cooking. Beef. So here we go. We got 200 grams of beef patties, 2 whole eggs. Unfortunately, the yolks broke. I really hate it when that happens. Then we got mushrooms and spinach. We got the pineapple. And then we got our supplements. Usually, like I said, this will be my breakfast, but because after breakfast we went to train, I don't want to take my supplements either, because there are some antioxidants in there which will interfere with the training effect. So what we got here is Gero EPA DHA balance for your omega-3s, vitamin C, magnesium, simple multivitamin, vitamin D3 plus K2 oral spray. So K2 will help with the uptake of vitamin D3, zinc, telmisartan, proviron. Those will be the supplements. Let's eat. Everything's a wrap for today. Got my steps in, training is in, all my work is done. Now it's time to eat my last meal and just chill out because I'm exhausted. So for our last meal, it's pretty much a replica of the pre-workout meal, except it has a little bit more fat in it, so we can keep blood sugar more stable throughout the night, because you don't want any blood sugar spikes in the middle of the night. Oatmeal, cinnamon, flavor drops, almond butter, our good old friend, the protein tub, let's see where we can put it, blueberries, and coconut milk. So that'll make up the whole meal. So I'll show you what that looks like again. So there we have it, the last meal. That's 100 grams of oats with 150 grams of blueberries and 20 grams of almond butter. And there we have the protein shake. That's the last meal for the day. That'll be a total of 3,781 calories with 280 grams of protein, 500 grams of carbs, and 70 grams of fats. So I'm gonna enjoy this last meal and then just chill out, and that's it for today. Head out to bed, recover, and go at it again tomorrow. If you want to see more of this, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next episode.